looking back at last season, now that you're through the summer, you're at the start of a new season, how do you look back at that as fuel for what's ahead?
Yeah, I think a lot of the things we dealt with last year, hopefully we don't have to deal with this year. With the injuries and whatnot, we feel like we grew a lot as a team just dealing with that, something we didn't have to deal with the year before quite as much. So that and just getting fresh blood in the locker room is I think, very exciting for us as players, and they're motivated just as much as we are. So I think it's going to be a good mix.
Eric? Devon, just to kind of get this out of the way from now, you're in the last year of your deal. Have you had any talks this offseason, and has there been any progression in terms of getting an extension done? Is that something you intend to do during the season, or are you kind of pushing that to next year?
Yeah, we've talked. It's a business, right? So it's, we both have sides that we're trying to get done, and there's their side and there's my side as well. So we'll hopefully find some common ground here. I'd rather it not drag on into the season, but my intent is to stay here the rest of my career. So if we're able to get that done, that'd be awesome.
Peter, Bob?
I also just wanted to ask you, Devon, just about the long off season. Obviously, you got out earlier than you were hoping, but are there benefits to maybe having a little more rest and going into this year a little more hungry?
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to repeat. Not a lot of teams have done it. It's a long, grueling season to play 82 games and then go through the playoffs. And with the injuries we had last year, it was even more taxing on some of our big boys and some of our key players as well. So just to get that full off season to reset, guys with kids got more family time. They got to relax a little bit. It's kind of a grounding moment to just relax and know there's other things in life, and then it helps kind of refocus you for a big season.
Jesse?
Cale, I talked to you this summer. You mentioned the Nuggets parade. You guys were all kind of texting each other, watching that, saying we got to do this again. Seems like a lot of guys were into town early this year. Do you kind of feel that that's circulating around the locker room, that fire to get going?
Yeah, I think like Taser just touched on, there's definitely that drive this year. I don't think it's any different from years prior. I feel like guys come to camp normally 2 weeks ahead, maybe a little bit earlier this year, if anything. But no, I think you can just feel it in the room. Guys are excited. All the new guys are excited to be here, which is a lot of fun. And I'm excited to get the season started and see what team we can produce on the ice.
Eric? A lot of familiarity on the blue line outside of obviously Eric moved on, but goaltending, the forward group, there's been a lot of change since the Cup year, and the forwards especially this year. Just how weird is it to kind of readjust to all that change each offseason?
Yeah, I think we feel like we're the rock back there. We can control a lot of play with how we are back there, and just having familiarity, and also just being able to play with each other. We're very diverse back there, we feel. So we can change our strategy depending on how our forwards are or how we're setting up our lines. And it's going to be good to get used to some new forwards, some new things going on there. But I think they're going to enjoy playing with us, and we feel like we're just going to be the rock back there all year long.
Kyle, then Ryan?
Cale, when it comes to your off-season program, how do you get your body ready for this season? How much has that evolved in your short time in the NHL? And is there anything you did this off-season that you found worked for you or that was different?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit different off-season for me just in general. Quite a bit of rehab, actually, just trying to get the body back to where I want it to be coming into this season. And it's been quite a bit of grind, just a lot of lingering things from the end of last season. So, it was a kind of a wake-up call this summer. Everything never really had a summer like this where it was just every single day you're kind of working towards one kind of ultimate goal of getting back to feeling normal again. So, for me, it was a fun learning process, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to go through that again. But the summers are good. Obviously, you have those kind of individual times like Taser touched on too, whether it's with family and then also with just working out and
engagement.
Being no. But yeah, just for me, it's nice. I love being back in Denver now, and excited to just get the season started. And I feel like that's everybody. Once you get that around that time to come down, everybody kind of start getting excited. So,
Ryan, then Peter.
Cale, you told us when the first round of the playoffs started, you weren't at 100% going into it. Can you tell us kind of how far away from 100% you were? And then is it frustrating to not be 100% now at the start of camp, or does it feel good to kind of have had that long summer as opposed to last summer?
Yeah, I mean, like Taser touched on, we had so many injuries last year, and for me it was just like a string of different things. But no, I felt good in that playoff series that we played, and it was just obviously a battle and stuff. And then, like I just touched on, the summer was obviously key in terms of getting back to normal, and things have lingered quite a bit longer than I'd liked them to have. And it's just obviously for me, going into camp, it's feeling comfortable, making sure that my body can withstand skating every single day. So if I have to take a couple days off here and there, I might need to do that. But overall, relatively feeling pretty good right now. It's just a work in progress.
A couple more, Peter, then Megan.
Yeah, Cale, is the hope that when you are able to get back on the ice in training camp that you will be 100% at that point?
Yeah, that's the plan. I think I'll probably miss the first few days of camp on the ice here, and then should be ready to go. Hopefully start skating by the weekend. And then, I've been basically full tilt when I am on the ice in the summer and stuff. It's just, like I said, it's still a little bit there. So want to make sure, sort all this stuff out, because obviously it's a long season and you don't want these things just kind of being brought back up in the first 10 games. So I'm trying to take advantage of all the resources I have right now rather than later on.
Megan.
Cale, Toews mentioned the group growing from the adversity relating to injuries, and I was curious, with the conflict of the personal troubles with Chushkin, if the group has had a chance to reconnect with him since that happened and put some of that to rest so it doesn't serve as a distraction going into the season.
Yeah, obviously what happened. It's a tough circumstance. Obviously, you have a group of guys going into the playoffs, a super tight-knit group, and then something like that happens, and everybody just kind of, all their minds go astray, and you don't really feel like you're kind of all together at that point again. So to have him back and to have him being here and seeing how committed he's just been since being back for a week, it's awesome. So no, I think we've all turned the page on that kind of, and we're excited to see him back out there in full force. But obviously with everything personal that whatever went on, it's just it's his stuff, and we support him with whatever he's got to do.
Last two, Brandon and Aaron.
Cale, we saw your reaction on the coverage of you on the cover of the NHL game, but Devon, what was your reaction to the teammates, and how has that gone? Did everybody get a free copy of the game?
Yeah, we all saw that, didn't we? It's a cool moment. I think I share the same excitement he does for himself as I have that same excitement for him. It's such a cool thing to be a part of, and I'm a laugh every time I see that face on the front of that cover. So hopefully I can get a signed copy or something to put up in my basement. But yeah, it's a cool moment, and nobody else deserves it.
Aaron.
Cale, I wonder if you just put your finger on the pulse of this team in terms of excitement, having won the Stanley Cup, and then last year had such a disappointing season with injuries and coming up short in the postseason. How excited is this group to get back on the ice and make another run?
Yeah, I think like Taser touched on, I feel like the new guys that we brought in are so excited to be here, and I think the feeling coming into this year's camp, everybody just feels rejuvenated after obviously blessing in disguise, kind of like a little bit of a longer summer to recover and everything. And last year, we're still coming into camp and we feel like we had the ability to do that, but you never know how the year is going to unravel. And obviously the injuries backed us up, but I think coming into this year, everybody we know we should be contenders again, and that's the exciting part. And I think that's going to be the drive for a lot of us. I think guys on our team, even some of the new guys, have stuff to prove. You look at a guy like Ryan Johansson, obviously Nashville's paying part of his salary, and so he's coming here to prove, and obviously I hope he wants to win a cup. So it's exciting to bring guys like that in. I feel like we filled the holes that we needed to, and we definitely got a lot more physical, and I think we'll be a hard team to play against. So.
Great. Thank you guys for sharing.